Hello, welcome to Raymond Castile's Basement of Horror. Before we talk about the toys we're going to look at today, I want to tell you about a most unpleasant experience I had this morning. I was in a collision. I was driving my car. I have a yellow bug, driving it through an intersection. Had a green light, and then another car was making a left turn through the intersection. She should not have been, because I was going through the intersection, and she just hit me right in the front bumper, and I skidded out, and the airbag deployed, and so I think looking in the mirror, I see a little red in my face, I think, because of the airbag. So if I look different, that's why. Let me give you a little dramatization here. So the only cars I've ever owned are yellow bugs. I've owned 2 yellow Volkswagen Beetles, the modern kind, and I had one for 20 years. I was the original owner, bought it new, had it for 20 years. Finally, poor thing couldn't go any further. It was on its last legs, so I had to sell it. And then I bought another yellow bug, a more recent, but still it was a used one. And that's the one I still have, and that's the one that was in the collision. I hope it survives. We'll see. I certainly can't, I'm in no position to be buying another car right now. But here's a dramatization. So my friend Andrew Williams made this a few years ago. This is a custom monster car. See the little monsters in there? And ordinarily I would want to be the guy driving the monster car. But because I in real life drive a yellow bug, this will be me. So let's just pretend that the intersection's here. It's green light. I'm driving through the intersection like I should. Here's this person who's probably has a yellow blinking arrow, I suppose. Decides that it's a good time as I'm coming through the intersection to and I had to crawl out. I started burning like Anakin Skywalker. And then she just backed up over me and ran away. That's not quite how it happened. But it did happen like this. The green light intersection, here I come. And the airbag deploys, and I'm spins around. Where am I? What's going on? And the first thought am I still alive? I appear to be. Am I still in one piece? Yes. So after that, the second thought was, well, there goes my car. Oh well. And I had to stand. So she parked pulled over to the curb, and then I was outside for about half an hour talking to the police. This is the officer, and talking, giving my statement. And then I had to have the thing towed away. My poor bug got towed to the collision center. And that's where it is now. So I was still a little shook up from that experience. It is possible that I did in fact die, because this could be a Carnival of Souls situation where I don't realize I'm dead. Everyone can see me and hear me, but I'm actually dead. So at some point, people with pasty faces and dark eyes could start coming after me, trying to convince me that it's time to go and drag me back into the underworld. Just in case. I did skin up my left leg a little bit, so it was a little sore, so I have my trusty Barnabas Collins cane here, in case I need it. I mean, I carry this around whether I need it or not, but it was a good excuse to have it handy. So that was the dramatization of what happened today. So I am fortunate to be here, and I thought maybe doing an episode might... Usually, it's actually kind of stressful doing these episodes, but I thought maybe it would be a good kind of stressful, and it could help me unwind a little bit. So, let's see, what the heck are we gonna do a episode about today? Let's put that over there. Oh, wow, what the heck do I have here? These are all bagged up. I didn't know that. Let's see. Should have done a little more prep, I guess. Okay, so we're going to look at rubber jigglers today. And here they are. So it's going to be an exciting show trying to see through this cellophane. So these are the Dehorribles. Oh, there's my cat. Maybe, hey, you want to get into that? Here you go. It's right up here. There he is. Whoop. He's still there. You can stay here if you want. Just sit and chill out a bit. Nope, he's gone. Okay. Well, at least he said hello. All right, so let's take this out of here. No Mego today. I've got a fairly involved Mego video planned, but we need a break from Mego. Too much Mego for one channel. So here it is without the bag. I don't know if that's much of an improvement. Can you even see it in there? Well, look at this card, though. Look at that. Isn't that something? Look at that wild card art. There's a price sticker on it. Like a dealer price sticker says $60, so someone wanted $60 for this. Okay, well, they're not all going to be... I mean, trust me, you'll get a better look at these. But that's what we're going to look at this series called The Horribles. Let me just read what it says here. The Gooky Screamies. Real looking, real feeling. Made in Hong Kong. Now, the company for this particular version of it is Barton Toys. Yeah, Barton Toys. Made in the USA. 75A Marion Street, Seattle, Washington. Huh. And it's also got a Canadian address under that, Vancouver, British Columbia. Well, that's interesting, because most of the stuff comes from New York. If it's not New York, it's New Jersey. This is Seattle, Washington. That's interesting. New, stick me on your car's window and watch all the scared looks you'll get. See, I needed that in my car window today. I should have had one of these hanging there from the rear view mirror. Well, actually, they have suction cups, so I could have actually stuck it really on the outside of the window. I could just kind of roll down the window, stuck it on there, rolled it up, and it would have scared away the other driver. Oh, what's this say? It's kind of hard to see. On walls or windows, at home or school, I'll raise a million screams of terror. On walls or windows, at home or school, I'll raise a million screams of terror. Huh. Okay. Look at that crazy skull spider. I love that artwork. The Horribles. Now I do have loose ones here. So I have what is, as far as I know, a complete set of carded ones, which I will show. But then I also have, oh my gosh, I have a bunch of loose ones. Holy Toledo. I probably don't even need to worry about these. Wow. I didn't know I had that many. Okay, so we'll look at the carded ones in a minute, but first, because you can't really see them inside the cards, we're going to look at some Godzilla toys in another episode, probably the penultimate episode of the season. And those Godzilla toys, I'm not looking forward to that because you can't see them either in bags. I hate it when, well, I mean, as a collector it's fine, but for purposes of display and a video or like a magazine article or something like that, a toy that's in a plastic bag is just so hard to photograph. It's really difficult. So, but luckily I have loose ones here, and I know that I have every one of these loose. I'm not missing any of them. Let's see. I say I'm not missing any, but there is one I'm missing. Well, we'll get to that in a second. Let's look at these first. Okay, so here is the one we just looked at. There's a loose one. And you can see he's very jiggly. He's got all these little tendrils. And he's got a suction cup back there. So that's what they were talking about when they said that you can stick them on Windows. Let's see here. I'm looking for, is this made in Hong Kong or is this made in China? Because that'll tell me if this is an original or a later one. Let me see another one. I can't really see on that one. Because I do think they had some later ones that were made in China. No, Hong Kong. Okay, so these are vintage Hong Kong. I do think that they were repopped or reissued in China at some point later on, but not these. These are vintage. Okay, so you can see that's a strange looking creature, isn't it? Look at that face. Look at that. And so I was talking about hanging it from a rear view mirror. That's what these little elastic bands are for. So that's what you did with these jigglers. And jiggler is a term that collectors use to describe oily rubber figural toys from the 60s and 70s. I guess they probably still had some. Yeah, they had them in like the early 80s, but by the early 80s, they were different. They weren't jiggly anymore. They started getting stiff, rigid. Like Ben Cooper's, a company that was famous, among other things, like making Halloween costumes. They also were famous for making rubber jigglers. And their original rubber jigglers are very oily rubber, jiggly. And by the early 80s, they were very stiff. They didn't really move or jiggle. And today, there are still companies that make what are more or less jigglers, but they're not made the same. They're either hollow and filled with pellets, and then they're stretchy, and they're made of something that feels almost like a silicone kind of material. I'm sure it's some kind of PVC, I assume, but it doesn't feel like this. It feels like more like a silicone. Or they're very rigid. I mean, this isn't a jiggler. This is a vinyl Bigfoot, but they're almost like this. He is a little bit flexible, but he's hard. And from like the early 80s on, the jigglers were not jiggly anymore. They became harder, more rigid, stiff, instead of floppy and jiggly and rubbery. So and there's all kinds of reasons for that. Like I think some people said the price of petroleum, because they are petroleum based. The price of petroleum, say that 5 times in a row, went up, and so they started using less petroleum in them, and that made them less rigid. I don't know if that's true. I've heard different theories, but for some reason, the old jiggly, wiggly rubber jiggler toys are a thing of the past. What they have today are either the stiff kind of PVC things like that don't really move, or the pellet-filled, hollow ones filled with pellets. And they're squishy and jiggly, but they're not solid rubber jigglers. Now we say these are rubber, but they're actually PVC. Rubber is like latex rubber from a tree. These are from petroleum. These are oil-based plastic. They're essentially soft plastic. So like, this is hard plastic, and plastic can be hard or soft. And it can be so soft that it jiggles. So rubber jigglers are essentially plastic, but they're soft plastic. Well, let's look at another one. Here is this flower child. Flowers in his hair. Big teeth. Ah. And he doesn't have a string. Here's his suction cup. Um, oh, this one, this one kind of looks like almost like a tiki thing or a voodoo kind of a design. In the 60s particularly, there were a lot of like cartoonish voodoo imagery and tiki imagery that looked a lot like this. So I'm not saying that's what this is, but my guess is that it's inspired by that. He's really cool. Lots of jiggling going on with this one. Lots of... So I'm looking at it in this... I was going to say the viewfinder. I mean, it's not a viewfinder. I'm looking at it on the screen here, and I can see the details a lot better than I can with my naked eyes. He's really cool. He's got a lot of scales and details that I can't see with my eyes. But on a screen, I can see it. There's his back. Okay, we saw that one. Here's a cool one. Let me put his elastic behind me. He looks like he's drunk. Whoa, hey guys, what's going on? Whoa. I like how, look out, see how he jiggles? That's what a jiggler should do. He should jiggle around. Now I think I can risk actually suspending these from these elastic bands. Some jigglers, the band turns brittle. And because I think it's latex rubber inside the elastic band, and it reacts with the petroleum rubber and it disintegrates, and so the elastic bands become brittle. Basically, they become desiccated and thin and brittle, mummified. But not this one. This is still kind of fresh. So you see how see what I'm doing there? That's the classic jiggler action, suspended from the rubber band and from the elastic band actually, and you jiggle. So what people would do would be they would put that in there on the rear view mirror, put that over the mirror, so that as they're driving along, and this is suspended from the mirror. And that was a thing. I mean, that was a big thing in the 60s and 70s. A lot of people put those in their cars. And that really is the idea. That was a big fad, to stick these on rear view mirrors. That's the whole point of this elastic band. And then the secondary use of the elastic band would be for a little kid to play with it like that. But little kids didn't. The little kids played with it like this, like an action figure. But the idea of the band was to put it on the rear view mirror. So as you're driving, this is like a little, I don't know, decoration or good luck charm or something. It's like the fuzzy dice. If you've ever heard of fuzzy dice, people used to put fuzzy dice on their rear view mirrors, hang them from the mirror, or they hung rubber jigglers. How did that get started? I have no idea. It seems like such an unlikely kind of a thing to catch on, but it did. For about 20 years, people did that. He's cute. I like him. Look at his goofy face. Oh, he's got a belt. I never noticed that. He's got a pants with a belt on? Okay. Now this one is interesting because I don't think he was ever sold on a card. I've never seen him on a card. He's cute. He looks like maybe he's exasperated, or he's trying to explain something. He's saying, hey fellas, what's going on? Or he's demonstrating something. He could be demonstrating, or maybe introducing someone. He's like introducing this guy. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to introduce you to Flower Child. So, I like his colors. Look how he's got that kind of popsicle-like blue color fading into the orange. And then the lemon lime. Well, I don't know if it's lemon. Yeah, it is. That's like the lemon. That's like the lime. And this is some blue flavor. Blueberry, I don't know. It looks like he's edible, doesn't it? There's his back with the suction cup. So that's the other thing with these suction cups. See, again, they're car oriented because you could hang it from the mirror, but you could also stick it on the window. Now, I don't know about sticking it outside the window to scare people because I think it would fall off and you'd lose it. But you could stick it inside the window as part of the decoration. So I don't think he was ever sold on a card. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see how much trouble it will be to open these up. So here again these are sparkly versions. Now, I think these might be Chinese. These might be made in China. Let me see. I'll never find out. I'm gonna get these little sparkles all over. Yeah, it's already all over everything. Oh boy. But these are sparkly versions, but they're still jiggly. But I think these are later. I'm not sure about that. Don't quote me on that. And you can see he's size is a little different. And the flowers stick out more. For all I know, these could be the older ones. I don't know. The sparkly ones. So that's another thing about these oily jigglers. They're sticky. Not real sticky, but sticky enough that something like this stuff will stick to them. Oh gosh, what a mess. Well, we'll look at these inside the packages. So you see, these are our buddies we've already seen. But they're sparkly, these versions. Coated in sparkles. Alright, so this is an important one. This is the ghost. He's cool. He's my favorite one. And in any version, he's always the most expensive one. There's different variations of him. Not the sculpt, but the way he's presented, like the color, the material, and that kind of thing. Now you can already tell, I think, just, you can already tell he's the coolest one. He's something else. He's got his suction cup. So that's the ghost. And as far as I know, these don't have official names. But look at those giant hands. Giant feet. And I have something to say about the hands and the feet. There's a little background there. Oh, what a mess. What a mess. Yuck. All over. I'm glad Billy's not here trying to eat this stuff. Okay, so I just knocked my microphone. So I'm going to pause a minute, clean this up, and because I have another version of that ghost that I thought was in this box, but it's not. I think I know where it is. So we're gonna pause, and when I snap my fingers, this will be gone, and I'll have that other ghost. Are you ready? It's like magic. 1, 2, 3. It's gone. All right. Now this is the other version of that ghost. There's multiple versions of the ghost. But here's the other one I thought was in the box, but it wasn't. He's smaller. I didn't realize he was so much smaller. Here he is. Whoa. He's got a little skull and crossbones there. He's a good 30% smaller than the other one. And he doesn't have a suction cup. So this one was sold in a vending machines in a capsule. Yeah. So he was in like a plastic capsule all folded up in a vending machine. He came from a dealer of vending machine items, and it was in his stock of vending machine stuff. It will never go back in that bag, so forget it. It's not going to happen. I'll have to put it away some other way. I guess he can go in here. Or can he? I think so. Go in there. You'll be fine. Yeah, you'll be fine. But he's green and they're orange. Will they accept him? I don't know. All right, so let's talk a little bit about these things before we show the carded ones. All right, so as best as anyone can tell, they originated in the late 60s. There are other, besides the Horribles, there are other carded versions of these toys. There's the Umglick series, Umglick. The Umglick versions. And they are made by Chemtoy. Chemtoy. Now, you remember Chemtoy, perhaps, from our Jaws episode. Chemtoy made those carded Jaws sharks. You know, they were on the cards. There was a soft rubber one and a hard rubber or a PVC one. And Chemtoy made both those sharks. Chemtoy made a lot of superhero toys in the 70s. They made PVC figures of Batman, Robin, Superman. They were about yay big, and they didn't move. They weren't jointed. They were just stiff, solid PVC figures. And I had some of those. My brother and I had those as a kid. Probably still have them somewhere. And Chemtoy made a lot of other stuff. But Chemtoy specialized in PVC and rubber items. And in 1968, Chemtoy made these Umglick rubber jigglers on cards. Now these things were also sold under the name Chamber of Horrors. Chamber of Horrors and Slimy Monsters. Slimy Monsters. In addition, of course, to the Horribles. And there are other variations out there as well. I'm not listing all of them, but those are the ones that I'm familiar with. Umglick, Chamber of Horrors, Slimy Monsters, and probably the best known, the Horribles. Now, Chemtoy made the Umglicks. I don't know. I mean, we already saw Chemtoy's name isn't on that card we just looked at. It's, what was it, Barton Toys, so I don't think that has any relation to Chemtoy. But Chemtoy made the Umglicks, and also Chemtoy made another series of similar toys called the Moist Mumsies. And these were also in 1968. So Chemtoy in 1968 made the Moist Mumsies jigglers, as well as the Umglick jigglers. The Moist Mumsies had 6 characters. 6 characters. And one of them was called Sewer Sam. And Sewer Sam was a devil character. And Sewer Sam had legs that looked the same as that ghost, as the DeHorrible's ghost. So obviously there's some connection there between the Mumsies and the DeHorribles. So I'm wondering, I mean, did these things originate with Chemtoy? Were they the first to offer these? Or did Chemtoy get them from somewhere else, just like Barton probably got them from some other wholesale source? Was there some factory in Hong Kong putting these out, and Chemtoy ordered them, and then at some point Barton also ordered them? And I don't know, like Chamber of Horrors, Slimy Monsters, I don't know who made those, but those could be different companies too. So I don't know that Chemtoy manufactured these. I don't know that they were the original manufacturer, or if they just ordered them the same as Barton ordered them from some source in Hong Kong. But clearly there's a relation between the DeHorribles and the Mumsies, because the ghost and Sewer Sam have the same limbs, basically, the same extremities, the same sculpture. It's just the middle part. Instead of a devil, it's a ghost. Which came first? Probably Sam, because it's the more detailed one. But who knows? And just generally speaking, the Mumsies seem like a upscale counterpart to the DeHorribles. They seem like a more detailed, more refined take on the same idea. And on the collector market, the Mumsies go for a lot more money. You can drop $1,000 on a Mumsy. It can happen. You're definitely going to pay at least $300 or $400 for a Mumsy if the seller knows what they're doing. And they can definitely get up past the $500 mark into the $700, $800 mark and beyond. So Mumsies can be very expensive, particularly if they got the tag and everything. If they're in perfect shape with the tag, you're going to pay a lot of money. You're going to pay several $100s, and even $1,000 isn't out of the question. The DeHorribles, completely different story. You can buy DeHorribles in the package for like $40. I'd say the maximum you would pay for any of them would be $100 in the package. And loose, you could get like a group that I just got. You could probably get the whole group for like $50, like the bunch that I had there. All those together, I mean, maybe $10 each, maybe. So like a whole bunch of them for $40, $50, $60 in that range. And on cards, that's about, an individual would be about $40, $50, $60 for most of them. So big price difference between the Mumsies and the DeHorribles. I like them both, but the DeHorribles are the ones that captured my imagination years ago when I first saw them. Maybe it was the card art. I don't know. But let's look at some more DeHorribles. Okay, boy, we got a lot to go through. Well, this is the one we already saw, so we can put him aside over there. Let's see. Well, this is another version of the one we just, that first carded one we saw. Do I have glitter on my hands? I don't want glitter all over everything. Okay, so have you ever dated someone who always doused themselves in glitter? Now, I'm not complaining about it. I think it can be very cute, very charming. But have you ever dated someone who always put glitter on them? If they were going out, glitter. You 5 years later, you'll still find that glitter in your car or wherever else they've been. Okay, so not complaining about that. Not complaining about that. I'm just, it's an observation. Now, here's a horrible. So let's look at this guy. I mean, they've all got the same card, basically. It's a beautiful card, but we've seen it. So here's this guy. Now, you remember him. We saw him, but this one is dark. The other one was light colored. This one's dark colored. And you can see the details a little better on the dark colored one. But we've seen him. Let's just, for now, let's set them over there. And he's sort of like, yeah, okay, so we haven't seen this one. At least not on a card. These have been in these bags a long time. They haven't seen the outside air in a long time. Okay, here's this fella. And I think these carded ones, it seems like they're a little better quality than the loose ones. It seems like they're, I don't know if they're a little bigger maybe, or the details are better, or they're painted better, the rubber's better. Just, they're not the same as the loose ones. There's definitely, a lot of times, when Ben Cooper would do this with the rubber toys, there'll be like a style A and a style B, and there'll be different price points, and there'll be different quality. So the upper price point will be just a little bigger, a little more detail, a little better paint, and the lower priced versions will be just slightly smaller, a little more basic paint, not as detailed. So that could be the way that these were done by whoever was selling them out of Hong Kong. Because these carded ones do seem like they're a little bit fancier than the loose ones. And you can see here, I should have shown you this on the other one, you can see how his suction cup sticks through that hole. That's why there's a hole in the card. See, that one really shows up well. So that's what fastens them to the card, is that suction cup stuck to the hole. Suction cup stuck through the hole. Okay, here's the flower child. Now the Mumsies all have names. They have official names. As far as I know, the Horribles do not have names. I've never seen any official names given to these. Here's the flower child. I think you can tell he just looks a little more put together. There's something just a little more upscale about this one on the card. Maybe it's just the color of the rubber, I don't know. Because the dark color helps the detail show up. Now, on this card, through this clear plastic, you can't really see the details very well, but take my word for it that it looks a little more detailed. So here's the one that I thought was had a kind of voodoo-esque look. Like that 60s tiki voodoo fad that was big at the time. So I'm getting a little taste of how difficult it's going to be when I do the Godzilla toys. through those bags, it's just going to be a mess. Because you can't see these things. But you saw them loose. There's the back. Is this thing damaged? No, it's just wrinkled. The plastic bag. Okay, so here's the rarest one on the card. 30 years of collecting. This is the only one I've seen, and it took me, I bought all these, well, not all of them, most of them years ago. And then finally, just last year, I found the ghost on a card. He is the hardest one to find on a card. Of the ones that I know were made on cards. Not, as far as anyone knows, there's at least that one that I showed you earlier that looked like he was demonstrating something. That one that had his arm like that. No one's ever seen him on a card. I've asked around. No one's seen him on a card. There's the ghost. And you can see he's really big. That one from the vending machine was smaller. You can see he's a big ghost. He's a big old ghost. He's almost too big for the card. There's his suction cup. And his package I think is in the worst shape. I mean, they're all in good condition, but his package is just a little bit rougher than the other ones. Most of them, I'm just looking at them offhand. Most of these look like, store stock. They look like you just took them out of a shipping case. They're very fresh looking, but not him. Not this one. He's not bad. I mean, the condition's not bad, but it looks like an old toy. It looks like a vintage toy. It doesn't look like fresh, case fresh store stock. But he's the hardest one to find by far. And I did pay up for him. The rest of these I bought for like between 40 and $40-50 or thereabouts. I don't remember why I paid for the ghost, but it was more money. So as far as anyone knows, these 5 are the only ones available on cards of the Horribles series. These are the only characters that were made on Horribles cards. These guys. Another one could turn up any day. You could go on eBay right now and maybe find a different one that's no one's ever seen before. But as far as anybody knows, as of first quarter 2021, these are the only 5. Now I've got doubles on one. That's why there's actually 6 of them here, because one of them's doubles. Now there are variations. Hold on here. I paused because I thought maybe I'd forgotten one. Nope. I'm good. There we go. Come out of here. All right. So there are variations in these packages. So here is another version of the Horribles. It's a different card, and it doesn't have the backer card on it. There's our old friend. And you can see how this green card is a little different. Let's see if there's a difference in what it says. It still says the Gookie Screamies. Real looking, real feeling. Now, this one says Gold Farb Novelty Company Incorporated, New York City. From the Weirdo World. It's copyright Gold Farb Novelty Company, New York City. From the Weirdo World. Made in Hong Kong. Now, New York City is where you would expect this kind of thing to originate. Unlike Barton Toys from Seattle, Washington, in British Columbia. So, that was a weird location for a company that would put something like this out. But New York is exactly where you'd expect to see stuff like this. Because most of the companies that put out these kinds of toys are based in the New York area. Either New York or New Jersey. And some of these packages are a little rough. These green gold farb De Horribles. They're not in as good a condition as the orange ones. And they're different. I mean, the figures too have a different color scheme. They look different. Same sculpt, but I mean the paint and the rubber and everything looks different. And he looks very different. Just his colors are completely different. The way he's painted is very different from any other version we've seen. So, now I only have the 3 on the green cards. And I noticed that their elastic bands, all 3 of these look like they're attached inside the card somewhere. They're all 3 of them have the elastic band going up into the card. And that is, that's the case with these 2. The orange ones also have the elastic band going up into the top of the card. So we got the Barton toys on the orange cards with the backing card, and we've got the gold farb novelty green carded De Horribles. Is there anything else De Horribles related that I should show you? Not really. Well, we could compare. Where's the ghost? So, yeah, he's a little. They look like they're the same size, but they're not. This one is a little bit smaller than the carded one. Hello, where are you? And of course this one is much smaller. Yeah, he's much smaller. And he's smaller, slightly smaller than that one. Where's the big one I had? Just dump these back up. Ah! The Horribles! Where's my, what happened? Where'd I put my big ghost? Well, we have these. I don't know what else to say about the Horribles. Wow. They're cute. They're cuddly. They're weird. So I haven't done a lot of jiggler episodes on this show because it's a little hard, as you've seen, it's a little hard to show them off. And you end up just with a big pile of them. But I've got tons and tons and tons of rubber jigglers. So at some point, we'll go through all the Ben Cooper jigglers. I've got a huge Ben Cooper jiggler collection, and I've got a big Imperial jiggler collection, but those are mostly animals. They're not really monsters, but maybe we'll bend the format a little bit and look at those one day. And we've seen the Ahai or the Azraq Hanway jigglers, and there's all kinds of no-name jigglers, all kinds of monster jigglers that where no one really knows who made them. So there's a whole world of jigglers, monsters, and creepy bugs, and all kinds of weird stuff. And I think we'll get more into looking at those. The thing is, I don't have a lot to say about some of them. When you get away from like Ben Cooper and Imperial, there's nothing really to say except, hey, look at this cool jiggler, because there's no information on them. But it would be cool to showcase more of these jigglers on this show, which I will do in the months and years to come. But I think that's enough for the Horribles at this time. I really like this particular line. I think I like it because of the card art is what attracted me at first, and particularly the orange ones with that backer card. I really like the wavy, groovy 60s psychedelic background on the orange cards with a monster in the middle and that crazy skull, the spider legs, and just the whole thing. The name, the Horribles, and the font, and this whole package is really cool. And it takes something that's really just a piece of junk and makes it seem special. That seems like a special toy, but it's just this thing. Put it on a card, and all of a sudden it's special. But it's special loose too. Especially covered in glitter, getting all over everything. Okay, I think that's it. How long did we... I guess it's about an hour. Wow. Okay. That's it. Thank you very much. Remember, if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. Subscribe. And join the Facebook group. There's a Basement of Horror Facebook group. Join the group. And also consider voting in the Rondo Awards. Under the Best Documentary category, vote for In Love with Toys, the documentary that I made that's on this channel. Now, this show is nominated for an Oscar. That would be nice, wouldn't it? An Oscar for a Rondo. This show was nominated for a Rondo last year. Not this year. I guess our quality is slipping this year. But this year we're nominated not for this show, but for In Love with Toys. So please consider voting in the Rondos for In Love with Toys in the Best Documentary category. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. Remember, the one who dies with the most toys is dead.